Hello, listeners. Mallory Wilsey here, Chief Producer of the Enrollify Network. So, everyone is talking about AI these days, but not enough people are taking the time to unpack how AI will impact the future of higher education. And that's why we launched the Generation AI podcast, co-hosted by Artis Cadieux, CEO of Element 451, and JC Bonilla, Chief Data Officer at VaynerMedia. Artis and JC have worked on large language models for nearly 2 decades and have remarkable technical knowledge around how they work and how generative AI will impact the future of higher ed. Generation AI isn't just about understanding artificial intelligence, it's about being part of the AI revolution in education. Tune in, get informed, and be inspired to innovate in your educational space with the power of artificial intelligence. You can subscribe to the show by visiting podcast.enrollify.org or just search Generation AI wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Talking Tactics, a podcast that gets you results. Each episode features a single tactic implemented with limited resources that moved the needle in enrollment in some way. I'm your host, Day Kibbles, Strategy Director at Ology, a marketing and branding agency for education. Join me every other week for discussions with some of the most clever folks in admissions and enrollment marketing, doing the work day to day, just like you. Talking Tactics is a part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites, linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered, all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Check them out at element451.com. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Talking Tactics. I'm Day, your host, and here's what you're in for today. 192% increase in RFI form conversion rates and a 595% increase on mobile, all simply by adding fun. It's truly mind-blowing and unique, just as unique and mind-blowing as our lovely guest, Lydia Fine.
Wow, you flatter me.
It's what you are. You truly do all the things. Lydia is the Senior Marketing Technology Specialist at the University of Iowa with experience in marketing technology, lead generation, web conversion tracking, CRM integrations, data analytics, and basically all the ways that technology and marketing intersect. Lydia is also an exceptionally talented photographer, and she's a mom of 2. But I'll tell you when she actually blew my mind. Lydia, I think you're fearless. I saw her for the very first time on the biggest possible stage at the Hyatt Web Conference in 2023, in front of hundreds of attendees doing a lightning talk. Now, if you have never seen a lightning talk, it is the hardest format possible, even for an experienced presenter. But for Lydia, it was her very first conference talk ever. Just incredible. The other fearless thing that she did at Hyatt Web 2023 was she had ramen for the first time. She let me convince her to have ramen. Lydia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I gotta ask, have you had ramen since?
No, but I was just thinking about ramen. I was making a Vietnamese stir-fry dish, and I thought, ooh, this kind of is reminding me of ramen. Where can I get ramen around here?
Yeah, well,
tell me where to go.
Next time we go to a conference, we'll have ramen again. It was very adventurous for everyone involved.
That was fun. It was a fun night.
All right. Well, you're on the show to talk about this incredible tactic about how you changed your RFI forms for the MBA program at your school and got these just incredible increases in conversion rates. So can you just take us back to the beginning? What were you trying to solve with your RFI forms?
Yeah. So back at the beginning, we're talking early 2022. Since 2020, we'd seen kind of a gradual, steady decline in requests for information for our graduate programs, and primarily talking about our part-time online MBA program here. Mm-hmm. And the conversion rates were declining across all devices, but in particular, our conversions on mobile were just absolutely dismal. We knew that the proportion of traffic on our website was increasing on mobile, and we needed the conversions to follow that trend. Absolutely. It made no sense that as more people started to use our site with a mobile device, they were converting really, really well on desktop and terribly on mobile. So needed to fix that.
Okay.
Our RFIs converted 4.5 times better on desktop than they did on mobile. So, ew, not good. So we had a plan, which was to do a site redesign. We were moving from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9, and we thought that might help a little bit. Our forms moved over from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 in exactly the same format they were. And to explain what they were kind of like in the at the starting point is the RFIs stood alone on a page. And to get to them, it did require a CTA button click. It wasn't the best mobile experience because the form did require some scrolling, which can make a form feel overwhelming. Even though we cut as many form fields as we could, it still felt like a lot. So moved to the new Drupal 9 site. Conversions overall did go up. They improved, by a little under 70%, and which was amazing. However, desktop was still converting 3.3 times better.
Mobile was still lagging behind. Oh, we don't want that, mobile. We don't want that.
Way behind. So that was the problem.
Okay. So, all right. This is one of the things that I love about this problem is that you really have to dig into your data to see that this is happening and like, oh, traffic's going up, but conversions are not going down. So that's great. That's a great lesson to learn, everybody that's listening. So if this is the problem and your mobile forms are just, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, what idea did you have to make them better?
So with the migration to Drupal 9, we had a new tool available to us, which was to embed a form inside a content page. They no longer had to stand alone on a page, like, out on an island. So that was the first thing that we were excited about. But embedding a form within a page means it's probably going to be narrower. And so we need to think about what these forms would look like. And we stumbled across a feature that allowed us to use something called pages within our forms. So what this would mean is that you could put one question on page 1 and then have a next button and proceed to the next question and maybe 2 small questions on page 3, and then that would be your submit. So you could divide it up into smaller chunks. It makes it far more approachable, not overwhelming. We used a more conversational tone in the questions that we wrote, and utilizing these pages just made the entire form experience feel very different. So that was sort of the implementation of the pages. However, I think what you really liked about this is what we did on page 1.
Tell us what you did on page 1.
So I can't take credit for this idea because in the course of, we were going to do an embedded form, I start researching. I start looking all over the web for best practices, what's private sector doing, not just what higher ed is doing, who's using this, who's using it well, and what are the cool tips and tricks out there. And I came across this piece of information that said the first question on your form needs to be an absolute no-brainer. And even better if you can make it fun. People don't want to have to think. They don't want to have to do data entry. They don't want to start typing right off the bat. But if you get them invested with the form with an easy gimme question, something they want to actually share. And then they're far less likely to abandon the form, even though they have to move through multiple pages to get to the end.
I love this. Okay. I love this. I love this. I love this for so many reasons because I think about like my behavior when I'm filling out forms, and I'm a marketer. I fill out forms because, you gotta give back to your profession. I hate typing my address. I'm like, why? You're not going to send me mail. Like, leave me alone. I hate it when I have to figure out like anything, drop boxes. I don't know. I love this because the first question is about delighting me. It's about fun for me. It's not me giving something to you. It's you giving something to me. And I just love that idea. So, I love it. So, all right. Tell us, like, what kind of questions did you ask folks?
Yeah. So the first one that we did, we were still not feeling super brave about this. So we went for something basic, very no-brainer question, which is what kind of classes are you looking for? In person, online, a mix of both, or not sure. We tried to keep the options to 4 or fewer. But then we created additional embedded RFIs. And I got the idea to just, it was for a finance program. And I had just watched The Big Short. And so I went to the rest of the team and I went to our recruiting team. I said, you guys, what do you think about this? It's a little outside the box for us, but how about the question is, what's your favorite finance movie?
Oh my God. I love it.
And so then we actually had a lot of fun crowdsourcing the list, a very short list of favorite finance movies from our students and from staff, and finding out which ones we needed to put into our list. Then we did business analytics. So what's your favorite data movie? Moneyball. I learned a lot about movies I didn't even really know were about these topics, because our students would be like, oh yeah, Wolf of Wall Street or whatever. It was very cool. So that's our favorite way to go with this, because everybody has an opinion about things like movies, and everybody likes to just share. Oh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite restaurant.
Yeah.
People love
I saw a meme, I think yesterday, somebody shared a meme with if you don't like the same movie as me, I'm definitely going to take it personally, right? When you think about these personality quiz type questions, or an Instagram this and that or something, right? We all answer those things and we share them because we feel so strongly these are character traits, right?
Yeah.
The movies that I like, the music that I like, whether I drink coffee or tea, these things are, we think we are, we kind of think we're better than everyone else who doesn't do those things or like those things, right? So just being able to trigger that, that need for you to kind of prove yourself or share something about yourself, and then ride that wave, that action to get the information you actually need. I think it's so clever. So clever, so fun. Okay, so you came up with this idea, you kind of crowdsourced. Let's get into the details of the implementation a little bit. So I know you talked about Drupal and the in-page form. Is there anything to a listener out there who might have the technology available? What do you recommend that they do kind of step by step to make this happen, including the kind of asking for permission to do this? What was your sequence of steps?
So I started first with our central web development team to ask them if anyone else on campus was using this feature, and they were not at the time. So we were the first ones. So
you're a pioneer, Lydia.
Yeah, I wanted to be the guinea pig because I wanted to be first. So I started asking questions about what can I expect? Is there any gotchas that I need to know? Then, they said, well, we're not sure. See what you find. So started testing, found a couple special settings deep in the settings that I needed to have exactly right to do this. Otherwise, after that, then I just needed to do the typical work to integrate it with Salesforce and our CRM, make sure that the tracking was set up so that we could cookie folks as they fill out the form. And it was surprisingly sans roadblock. Yeah. I did not meet with resistance at all. And I expected it. And it was one of those just really lucky things that went extremely smoothly.
Hey, it's Mallory. Exciting news. I'm hosting the Engage Summit in Raleigh on June 25th and 26th, and I'd love to meet you there. Together, we'll dive into the mind of the modern student, what fires them up, how they interact, and what they expect in today's digital age, and how tools like AI help put them in the driver's seat of their education. We have some terrific speakers, including our closing keynote, New York Times best-selling author Jeff Selingo. Sessions will dig into practical ideas and innovative strategies to get your team more student-centered and ready to adopt AI. And many of your favorite Enrollify hosts are presenting too, like Jamie Hunt, Jenny Lee Fowler, and Brian Gross. Use the discount code Enrollify50 for an extra $50 off your registration. Learn more and register at engage.element451.com. We can't wait to see you there.
And the idea of asking these questions, did anybody kind of, not want to? Or,
Nobody.
Sometimes faculty members, I don't know. People can be like, I don't know, we're not fun. Right. We're not fun.
We're, at Tippy, at the University of Iowa, we're in a really good place with regard to our program leaders and our college leaders and our faculty leaders really trusting the marketing team to make the decisions that will help bring in the best prospective students.
I guess that's not the case in a business school. Then
I know,
no hope.
Right? You're right. Yeah, we're really lucky that we don't feel like our ideas are met with resistance very often. So we're trusted. That works out well.
All right. So I love it. I love it even if it didn't have results, to be honest with you. I just think we should be all about our users all the time and delight. Like, we've all forgotten how to delight people in the work that we do. But this also happened to have some incredible results. So talk to us about that. What happened to the forms on desktop, on mobile? What did you see?
Yeah. So right out of the gate, the embedded RFI started generating huge numbers of leads. And at first, whenever something is too good to be true, always go looking for what you missed.
Spoken like a true data specialist.
And I did. I dug, and it was all legitimate. I couldn't believe it. So the conversion rate, the first week it was on our website, outperformed our standard RFI by 234%. The results right out of the gate were fantastic. Looking at the exact same 5-month period that we had the standard RFI in place and the new embedded RFI in place, the embedded RFI had a 234% higher conversion rate over that exact same period. It also had a higher conversion rate compared to, and that's if you include the conversion rate of the new embedded RFI. But if you look before we put that into place on our new Drupal 9 site, so we made improvements, it was still 192% better than what it had been, right? Now, the real frosting on the cake, the cherry on top of the sundae, was what it did to our mobile conversion rates, which was awesome. Because, all along we've been dealing with,
this is where it started.
Yes, so much lower on mobile. And now suddenly that flip-flop that we had been wanting happened. So now our mobile conversion rates were almost double that of our desktop conversion rate.
Wow.
So just with the addition of this one form. So, prior to all of this, we needed 394 mobile visits to get one conversion. And now we needed 35 mobile visits to get one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So mobile conversions on our newer website, our Drupal 9 version, increased 595% just by adding the embedded RFI.
I can't believe it.
And if you want to, it's crazy.
can't.
And if you compare it to our Drupal 7 site, it's, I don't even think these numbers sound real, but 1,136%. I mean, that's just bonkers. It makes
just think of how much more efficient you've made that top of funnel. That can translate to all of those awareness efforts to really bring people to the site in the first place. There's so much more efficiency in converting.
Yeah.
The ROI for the whole operation has gone up, right?
Yeah.
I know that this is another stat that I loved that you mentioned to me is there was a little bit of concern, right? Okay, are we going to lose leads that come in through the more traditional RFI form? Did you notice that it changed? First of all, did you keep both up, the embedded in page one and then the standalone in an island one, like you called it?
Yeah, we did.
You did. And then how did they compare?
How did they compare? So after introducing the embedded RFI, we did notice the conversion rate on the standard RFI did go down by about 20%.
Okay.
Because theoretically, the people who would have converted on the standalone form are now converting on the embedded. However, the volume of RFIs that we received for the program as a whole on that standard RFI has not changed. That average volume has stayed the same, even while we have added this massive chunk of incremental RFIs from the embedded RFI.
So it's really on top. All this is on top.
It's all frosting, as you like to say. It's all incremental.
It's all the stuff we all want to eat. It's the delicious stuff.
It is. And I have a couple more numbers that are super fun to just think about.
Tell us.
So, all right. So in July of 2022, this is before we introduced the embedded RFI, which we did August 1st of 2022. So in July of 2022, we generated 211 RFIs across all of our graduate programs. The following month, from one embedded RFI on one webpage, generated 184 RFIs. So 184 from one tiny form versus 211 across multiple programs, multiple, that CTA for, request information was on every single page for every program, driving people to that standalone form. And we did 211, and one tiny little embedded form did 184. So then, when we saw how wildly successful it was, we rolled it out.
We need to put this form everywhere. Yeah.
Exactly. So our on-page RFIs appeared on only 3 pages on our entire site. Yet we were almost, certain really amazing months, we were tripling our overall RFIs across our graduate programs.
I can't believe it.
It was really quite nuts to watch it happen, and it has not tapered off. And we just kind of try to think of more inventive ways to use this tool and make sure it's in place for all of our programs, anywhere it really needs to be. If we need to do an easy lead capture, make it easy to get their information, this is our go-to tool.
Yeah, so that was exactly what my next question was going to be. It's almost like you knew that. What have you learned since, right? So it's been a little over a year since you implemented the first one. Has it been rolled out to all the programs? How do you keep the fun questions fresh? Like, what have you learned since in this year?
Well, one of the things that we learned is that we did need to find a way to carry this information all the way through into the recruiting experience. So if we're going to ask you what your favorite finance movie is, we probably shouldn't just ask and never mention it again.
Yeah.
So we did actually find a way to take that information from the RFI, get it all the way in front of the recruiter who's doing the personalized follow-up with our prospect so that they can say, hey, I love that movie too, or that's one of the favorites here. And they kind of get the opportunity to personalize that.
Oh my God, I just had a thought. Oh my God, go tell them. You should have watch parties around those movies. Everybody hates a webinar. Oh my God, nobody wants it. Nobody wants a webinar. But if you did watch parties around those movies and invited the folks who chose them, isn't that genius? Go tell them and then tell them to come on the show.
Right. Then on the next Talking Tactics, we're going to learn how Margot Robbie in a hot tub increased enrollment rates. There's that scene. I'm make sure Margot Robbie's in a hot tub with a glass of champagne.
I mean, that could increase any conversion rate in my mind.
It really would.
But also, that's genius. Everyone listening, somebody go do that, please. I have my moments. I do have my moments. This was one of them.
Oh,
okay, sorry.
Yes, but no, we did. We've rolled it out. I think we have a couple that we're still holding in our back pocket that we've yet to add it on, but we're trying to figure out what's the right, how many pages within a program should it be on? Should it be on all of them? Is that overkill? What's that going to do to conversion? So doing a little bit of testing, figuring out where we want to go with it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in general, I'm a big fan of the multi-page approach. There isn't a right number of form fields, but there's definitely a wrong number of form fields is how I like to say it. And then just this idea that, ask them for the minimum that you need, but also give them something. This is such a unique way to present this. And we're all doing forms. So I love it. Do you have any advice for folks that, are trying to implement this? Maybe if they don't have the technology, how could they apply this? In your mind?
I mean, if you don't have the technology, and I am very familiar with the big marketing ideas that get squelched because the technology is not there and the budget to go get the technology isn't there.
Yeah. So
that is something I'm intimately familiar with. But having numbers like these to fall back on does make those conversations a lot easier, and it does tend to shake that money loose from the old money tree a lot more easily if you can say, our peer institution saw a 595% increase in mobile conversions, and this is what our mobile conversion rate is right now. If we need to fill this class, this is an investment we need to make in our programs. So, I mean, as far as it goes, I always go back to numbers. Whenever we need to make a case for something, bring the hard data, because the folks who are in charge are going to appreciate that a heck of a lot more than anecdata, right?
Yeah. Do you have any sense, since this was implemented and like an admission cycle has gone by, maybe a few, do you know if these incredible conversion rates have trickled into the rest of the conversion milestones? Like, have there been more applications? Has there been more enrollment? Do you have any sense of that?
So it's a very timely question, because I'm in the middle of doing an analysis of conversion rates, and not just converting to a lead, but converting to a started application, submitted application, and all the way through to enrollment based on the vehicle that they used to convert the first time. So I don't have these answers yet, but I am in the middle of pouring through the data to try to figure out how to compare all these different conversion vehicles, including the embedded form, and see which ones are, whether or not that's even a predictor of enrollment likelihood. So I'm super interested in that answer too.
When we get that answer, we gotta come back on the show. Update to this episode. Yeah,
exactly. And you were talking about how you mentioned at the outset that I also have a photography business, and I love how lessons I learned in my higher ed job have translated to my small business, because this is what I've been sharing with all of my photographer friends. Your first question on your form should not be first name, because it's just sort of a habit. Find something fun to ask, and find something that's just an easy choice. What kind of session are you looking for? I mean, that's a no-brainer one. It's not very fun, but you can find ways. Which one of your children is your favorite? I'm kidding. Nobody has a favorite child. Nobody.
I have one child, so I do have a favorite child.
Okay, touche. You got me.
Well, but I chose not to have another child because I knew that this child would be my favorite child, even if I had another child. Although everybody tells me that can't happen. It won't happen. I don't know. He's my favorite.
It's so cute. He's also my favorite child. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you. Anyone who praises my son is obviously in my favorite people list. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lydia, for bringing this tactic on the show. Any final words for our listeners about your really incredibly converting forms?
Gosh, I think the coolest part about this is that in the end, it did not cost a dime, with the exception of time. I know time costs money. But sometimes that is the currency that's easiest to spend in higher ed. And I was just so delighted to see all these great results from something that we didn't have to shell out a single dollar for.
Well, we are delighted too. And we're delighted that you shared it with us. And now that every single person that listens to this episode is going to be able to add the Lydia Fun and Spunk to their forums. And I love that for us as an industry, because we need better forums all around.
We need to be more fun across the board.
The world needs more fun. Higher ed for sure needs more fun. And maybe this will give us a little bit of permission to do that.
Yes, a nudge in the right direction of.
That's right.
I dig it.
Signing out is your host today. And as I always like to say, dear listeners, keep walking the walk and talking the tactics. The Talking Tactics podcast is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions pros find their next big idea and feature a selection of the industry's bests as your hosts, like Jamie Hunt, Allison Tercio, Jenny Lee Fowler, Jeremy Tiers, and so many of your other favorite leaders in higher ed too. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered, all-in-one student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Check them out at element451.com.